If you're struggling with meeting women, with getting more dates, with getting second dates, with finding the right girlfriend or life partner, then this video is for you. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of not being needy and emotionally attached to women. Now, one of the reasons that's so difficult to understand for men like computer scientists, user experience designers, mechanical engineers, business owners, people who are well able to think, or smart in other words, and people who have jobs or careers that demand a lot of cognitive capacities, is that you've been trained, successfully so, to understand that the success you'll have in your business or your career is at least partially dependent on a degree of an emotional investment into the goal, right? The amount of effort you put in at least partially equals the result you're going to get, right? And that is absolutely true. Now, there's always doing more and doing the right kind of thing, right? If you want to get a promotion, if you want to get into certain tech companies, if you want to expand the revenue of your company, then you have to do smarter things and you might have to do more. Or you might have to hire more people in order to expand business operations. Now, being emotionally attached, having your happiness be at least partially conditional on the achievement of that goal makes absolute sense. Because if you're not emotionally invested, if you're not trying to put in more effort to achieve that goal, most likely you won't. That's why, I don't know, what is it, 90% of companies that are started fail within the first 10 years or something, right? Most people never get into the high-ranking, upper management positions in tech companies. They stay in executive positions, in computer science positions, or which is also a type of an executive position, but they never make it to the top. Now that's at least partially due to the fact that hierarchies are like this, right? There's not that much space at the top, there's more space at the bottom, obviously, but it also comes down to the fact that you're more emotionally invested. You've made a decision. I'm gonna get that job. I'm gonna grow my business because it's good for myself, it's gonna be good for my family, it's gonna be great for my customers, right? I want that promotion because I wanna be a manager, I wanna be able to lead a team. You've made a decision and you have attached yourself emotionally to that goal. And now, when it comes to meeting women, trying to find the right girlfriend or life partner, you're trying to copy the exact same behavioral habits. When you meet a woman, for example, and you're on a date, you've learned that you're gonna make an effort. And you're making a lot of effort. Maybe you're taking her out for dinner. Maybe you want to go skiing for the first date. Maybe you're thinking of some really fun ideas. You want to impress her, right? Maybe your parents, maybe society has told you that the more you invest, the more you show her that you care, the more she's going to love you. Now, you've been trying that for a while, and you've been trying really hard, and the more she pulled away, the more you chased her, and you kind of realize that that isn't really working. Maybe you've been single for the last couple of years, maybe you've been married before, maybe you haven't had any relationships in your whole life. Whatever the case may be, you've realized that running after women doesn't really work. Or maybe you're only realizing it now as I'm telling it. Now, please understand that having certain habits in one area of your life makes sense to make you successful. But different areas in your life demand different types of behaviors, mindsets, and techniques. And if you want to be successful at dating, if you want to find the right partner, which comes with having the right kind of options, then you have to learn that the more you chase women, the more you're going to run away. The social context, especially, which is a very unique subcategory, the dating context, the man-to-woman context, is based on many, many different psychological and social dynamic principles. The psychology, and then there's dynamics between men and women that are unique to dating. It's not even just a general social context, because in a general social context, you're not trying to get the other person attracted to you. But when it comes to the date, when it comes to getting her to see you again, when it gets to getting her hugely emotionally invested in you, because that increases the probability that she's gonna want to see you again, then you have to understand those principles, okay? And there's countless of them, but one of them, the one we're talking about today, is neediness. And you realize that when you're on a date with a woman, let's say you're on dinner, you're at a dinner, you've invested money, right? You've invested time, you've planned, you've put a little bit of cologne on, you shaved your beard, you really got ready, you got excited, you're like, oh, finally a date again, right? This is gonna be amazing, this is gonna be exciting. Maybe I get to see her again, maybe I get to kiss her. Maybe you don't even think about the fact that you're able to take her home that night. Perhaps, if she wants that, always be respectful or kind. And then you're sitting there and you actually realize you really like her. It's going at least good and you'd like to see her again. And then she doesn't want to meet you again. And what do? You follow up via text. You send her a message. She doesn't respond. You send her another message. She doesn't respond. You let a week or two go by. You give her a call. But you realize the more you chase, the more she's going to pull away. It's super important that you create an opening, that you create a space for her to invest. Now, there's many verbal as well as non-verbal ways within which that manifests at the date in very, very practical and specific ways. But from a meta perspective, you have to understand that the more you push, she's going to run away. And it might be very difficult for you to really let that sink in, to really let that land, because your entire life you've been trained, we have all, myself, we've been trained, and we keep training ourselves on the idea that the more we put in, the more we chase, the more we're emotionally attached to the achievement of a goal, the more likely we're going to get it. Yeah, that works in the context of a goal, because the goal in and of itself is not a living thing. Even though goals can be very dynamic in nature, we as human beings are living systems. And that's one of the big differences. If you want to get another person interested in you, you have to give her space. You have to sometimes push her away playfully and respectfully a little bit in order for her to get attracted to you. Now, some men say, this is a game. I don't want to play games with women. That's not who I am. I just want to be honest. I just want to be myself. Well, how's that been working out for you so far? That would be the same thing as me saying, okay, go ahead, you go and play poker. Well, poker is a bit of a gamble, but let's say you invest in the stock market, and I'm really no expert in that at all. And it's like, I'm not going to learn the dynamics of the stock market. I'm not going to learn trends and whatever principles are relevant in that financial context. I'm just going to go and invest my money. I'm just going to listen to a friend, right? My buddies who may have invested a couple of tens of thousands, which is marginal, right? And I've heard them say something. They talked about Tesla being a great stock to invest in at the moment, maybe Bitcoin, and so I'm going to do that. I don't need to learn the rules of the game. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to be myself. I'm just going to go with what feels good to me in the moment. If you don't learn the rules of the game, and financial markets, dating, business can be considered under the metaphor of a game. If you don't learn the rules of the game, you will not succeed. Now, my coaching system, my coaching program is built in such a way that you learn to express yourself authentically, honestly, that you can truly be yourself, but also effectively, because you could just walk up to a woman and tell her, excuse me, lady, you're really pretty and I'd like to have sex with you right now. Complete stranger. It's very honest, isn't it? What do you think is the probability of that actually carrying fruits and working out? I would say it's less than 1 in 100, or maybe around 1 in 100. I've never done it because it's a bit ridiculous. You could try it out as a comfort zone challenge, but I don't even think that's necessary, okay? But on the other hand, if you walk up to her somewhere in public, if you get her number through a dating app and you're on the date and you have a conversation and you initiate physical contact in a respectful way, you read her signals, you create attraction in the moment, you can see she starts laughing, she starts getting excited about you. Then from there, you may invite her for food, you may invite her for a second date, you may invite her home to your place, and you gradually and respectfully and effectively move things forward. Then things are going to go somewhere. But also, please don't think that it means you have to be someone else. You know, the mainstream always tells you, just be yourself. Yes, you can learn to be yourself, but also communicate that message more authentically and effectively. And being effective in your communication with women comes at least partially down to the fact that you can never be needy. That means she has to know that you want her, that you're intimately interested in her as a woman, but at the same time that you don't need her. There's countless ways in which that manifests. For example, it can even just be a joke, and you can tell her, look, I don't think it's ever going to work out between the two of us. And then you can move things forward, you can play. We call that disqualification. But the technical terms don't even matter. It's just understanding there has to be a space. She has to feel that you want her, but that you completely don't need her. Now, you're never going to say, Sarah, I appreciate the fact that you came on the date with me. I just want you to know that I want you, but I don't need you. No, it's none of that. It's none of that. But It's verbal communication, non-verbal communication, right? The right mindsets, the right strategies. A lot of men, a lot of clients that I work with, and I work with all kinds of clients. Some are barbers, some are founders of tech companies, entrepreneurs, a lot of computer scientists and engineers. They all struggle with this degree of emotional attachment, and it is a habit. You're not going to learn it from today until tomorrow. Believe me, some people who are extraordinarily successful and also completely normal people, they get emotionally attached the second they realize a woman is not just physically attractive, but they also feel drawn to her personality. I hear it all the time. I just don't want to mess it up. Like her, she's special, I just don't want to mess it up. I hear it all the time in coaching calls. And part of my job, a minor part of my job, is to remind men that the second you start acting needy, the second you start treating her, the one you're more interested in, differently than all the other ones, is the second you lose. Because you do not express yourself as freely anymore. You need to learn to express yourself completely freely while being calibrated. There has to be social calibration. But once you're calibrated, you have to allow yourself to be free in your expression. If you can't be free in your expression because you're so attached to the outcome of getting her, be that for a relationship or for a short-term intimate sexual adventure, it's not going to work. She's going to feel it. She's going to feel your neediness. And when she senses that you're needy, her brain, her hundreds of thousands of years old brain, her ancient brain, is going to remind her of the fact that if a man acts needy, he must not have many options. If he doesn't have many options, he cannot be the alpha, he cannot be the leader of his tribe, because the leader of a tribe has many options available, therefore he will not act needy. Right? That's the whole idea. If you act needy, you must not have many options available. But the second you relax, you have a conversation, you're playful, you're teasy, you're respectful, you're kind, you're disqualifying her, you're creating space. She realizes, oh God, this guy is not afraid to lose me. He's nice. In terms of he's nice in the good way, He's kind, he's enjoyable, he's friendly. But damn, he's not really afraid of me being here or not. He's not afraid of me losing. He's not afraid of me walking out at any moment. But if you can transfer that to her, she realizes, wow, you must have other options in your life. And that immediately makes you more attractive. The more options you have, doesn't mean you have to have sex with all of them. That's not the point, right? I'm helping men, obviously, get a better dating life. And sorry to say, you will have to have sex with many different options. If you're not religious, then it's not necessary. But my thing is helping men find the right girlfriend and life partner. But the more options you have, the more attractive you are with women, to women. That's partially why being surrounded by women is going to make you more attractive to them, because if you're in the presence of a woman, then other women trust the judgment of the lady, the girl, the woman who's with you, because they trust her that she must have gone through a certain evaluation process. That girl that you're with, she must have looked at you and evaluated certain things about you, right? Your character, your attractiveness as a man, attraction and connection, these two things, right? And in all the little detailed ways in which it comes across. So if you can be in the presence of other women, you're automatically more attractive. Now, there's some pure pickup guys out there who teach some strange techniques, and some of them are doing good work, some of them are doing really weird work. It's not necessary. You don't have to be in the presence of a woman in order to be able to find a woman. It's kind of that thing, right? Kind of with money, right? The more money you have, the easier it is to make money. Same thing, right? The more you're surrounded by women, the easier it's going to be. But if you learn how to communicate your personality authentically and effectively, emotionally not attached, or let me finish my point first, the easier it's going to be for you to get better dates, more dates, and find the right girlfriend and life partner. One final note, since we're sitting here in Phoenix Park in Dublin with the sun going down over there, a little spiritual yet practical note. You don't have to be completely emotionally cold. That's not what this is about. It means accepting the emotion of neediness. Or neediness is not a pure emotion, it's kind of a feeling, but it's easier to describe. Marshall D. Rosenberg, founder of nonviolent communication, would say neediness is not really a feeling, right? It's not one of the pure emotions because there's a lot of interpretation. Anyway, so when you feel, let's call it that for now, when you feel that sensation of neediness, you can simply become aware of it. You can realize, oh, hello, there's neediness, okay? Jack Kornfield, Gunther Schmidt, inner dialogue. How do you talk to yourself? How do you face the emotions that come up in you? How do you face difficulties, restlessness, neediness, you know? Because Gunther Schmidt says, it's never the symptom or the thing itself, it's your relationship to it. Quick little example. Gunther Schmidt tells this story about, so he's one of the best psychologists in Germany. And he tells the story that some people suffer from anxiety and all of that, you know. And there's some of his friends, they regularly get panic attacks, right? Regularly, like every couple of months or so, or every couple of weeks, they get really, really severe panic attacks. And he says, if you hear that story completely out of context, you'd say, oh, the poor guys. Well, what we didn't tell you is the fact that they go bungee jumping every couple of weeks. They seek that high. It's a very similar emotion. He says the experience is basically the same, but their relationship to it is completely different. Now, that's obviously partially down to the fact that they're choosing it consciously, and it doesn't just happen to them, because they're some of the most painful things you could ever experience. But it's not the emotion, not the experience, but your relationship to it. Now, in such severe circumstances that may need guidance to be able to create a new relationship to these emotions, but it's the same. You're on the date, you feel excitement, you feel nervousness. And obviously there's techniques and strategies that can help you to just feel more confident in the moment when you're approaching women or when you're on the date. But when you feel that degree of neediness, she's saying something, maybe she's just not laughing about your joke, maybe there's an awkward silence, you know, maybe she takes a sip from her drink, from her gin and tonic, and just takes a little bit too long. She's not responding, you don't know what to say. Maybe you interpret her behavior as not interested, and you feel the emotion. You can simply become aware. You can simply become aware of the emotion you're feeling and say, neediness, hello, that's okay, cool. I'm taking over from here, okay? Once you've consciously understood that neediness is completely counterproductive, you'll be able to let go of it much more easily. But letting go does not mean not feeling it. You'll be able to let go of it once you actually have more options. In order to get more options while you're on the date, you have to recognize, feel the emotion of neediness, accept it, maybe even thank the part within you that's creating it, because it recognizes a potentially amazing opportunity in front of you. But then you say, I accept it, I'm taken over from here. And if you want to learn how to do that in detail, if you want to learn how to get more dates, better dates, second dates, how to find the right girlfriend or life partner, how to communicate your personality authentically and effectively in detail, then apply for a first free coaching call with the link underneath his profile. During that call, we're going to be speaking, we're going to be creating a plan for you how you can actually achieve that. And then you can consider joining the coaching program if you actually want results. If you want real results, quick results, like men from 11 or 12 different countries at this stage have, then yeah, just join the coaching program. It's amazing, it's fantastic, it's mind-blowing, it's unbelievable. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. I wish you all the best.